Last weekend was supposed to be one thing, but it turned out to be something totally different. Last weekend was our first goat trip of the year, and it was called Snowed In Weekend, which, as you can imagine, we were supposed to be snowed in. I had rented this really awesome A-frame cabin in Milburn, Utah, which is about an hour and a half from here, and was fully expecting to have all the snowy vibes, hot chocolate, snowball fights, sledding, all the fun things that you would expect for a snowed in weekend. But we had none of that because there was no snow. But even though the weather was not exactly what we were expecting, it still somehow turned out to be one of the most meaningful goat trips I've ever taken. So let's talk about it. So about a week before the trip, I was in Ephraim, Utah with my husband. You can watch our video if you like. And on the way back, we stopped in Milburn so that we could see what was happening with the cabin, like what the weather was like, what the yard looked like, all the things. And unfortunately, there was no snow. And I texted the girls and I'm like, I'm really sorry. There's not going to be any snow for snowed in weekend, but we're still going to make the most of it and do what we can to have a good time. So first up, let's talk about the cabin that we stayed in. I found this cabin rental on Airbnb. Super affordable, and it slept 5 women comfortably with each person in their own bed. But if you were to go as a family or with your kids, you could definitely sleep more than that. But I like for everyone to have their own beds when we go on a goat trip because that's luxurious, especially if you share a bed at home with a dog or a child or a husband. Sometimes you just want your own space. But this A-frame was immaculate. It was decorated so pretty. The vibe in the cabin was super cozy. The beds were super comfortable. The kitchen was fully updated. On the outside, there was a pickleball court. The whole front yard was a downhill adventure park. So in the summer, you can use it for mountain biking jumps. And in the winter, you can use it for ski jumps or sledding jumps. I mean, it was pretty awesome. And I honestly was extremely disappointed that we weren't able to use that for the snow because it looked pretty epic. But there was also an 8-person hot tub, the fire pit, the rocking chairs on the front porch were a huge hit. So definitely recommend this place if you're ever in Milburn, Utah, or even if you live in Salt Lake and you're looking for a quick weekend getaway. This was a fantastic place to stay, and the hosts were awesome. So let's talk about the trips. This was a short weekend trip. We left on Friday afternoon, about 1 o'clock or so. I asked all the girls to meet at my house so we could all park and ride together. Unfortunately, I packed too much food, so we were not able to ride in one car down. We had to ride in 2, but that was totally fine, and it is what it is. And the drive down to Milburn is super quick. So if you don't know where it is, it's about an hour and a half south of Salt Lake City. So you just take Highway 6 like you're going to Moab from Spanish Fork, and you exit south on Highway 89. It's about another 45 minutes or so down the road. Milburn is an unincorporated town, so there's really not much to do in town itself. Like if you want to go to a restaurant or go to the grocery store, you gotta drive to like Mount Pleasant or somewhere else. But the trip was quick, conversations were great, and I mean, we got there about 3:30 or so. Once we got to the cabin, immediately all we wanted to do was go scope it out. We didn't even bring our stuff inside. We literally just dropped all of our stuff, walked inside, did the full tour of the house, and we're just completely amazed at how beautiful this place was. Now, before every goat trip, I do assign out beds for everyone so that there's no surprises, there's no drawing straws, you know exactly where you're gonna be. This year for the goat trips, people are paying for the beds that they want. So whereas in the past, I would say just take the whole trip, divide it by the amount of people that are on the trip. This year, you're paying for the bed that you want. So if you want a king bed all to yourself, then you're probably going to pay a little bit more than if you're sharing a twin bedroom with somebody else. After we took the tour of the house, we pretty much just hung out. We sat in the living room for a while and just kind of chatted, opened up some chips and salsa. I bought some non-alcoholic wines from Harmon's, which I don't normally drink non-alcoholic wines, but you never know what other people are interested in. And as a business, I don't necessarily want to be supplying alcohol. We had some wine, we had some chips and salsa, and just kind of got to know each other because many of the girls had never met before. As they were chatting, I started to cook up dinner, and I made this really awesome butternut squash chili. It's like my favorite chili, and if you ever come on a goat trip where I'm cooking, I'm probably gonna make it. One, because it's super easy. Two, I can make half of it ahead of time, so there's like less chopping and work that has to happen. And two, or three, it just tastes good. And that's what it's all about. So we had dinner together, great conversation again. All these girls are super fantastic. And after dinner, we decided that we wanted to go sit in the hot tub for a little bit. And the hot tub was fantastic. It was a little chilly once the sun went down, but the hot tub temperatures were perfect. More conversation. It all flowed super well. The girls got along great, had a great time. I think we sat in the hot tub for like maybe an hour and a half or so. And then we all came inside, took turns taking showers. And I think we were all in bed like around 10 o'clock or so. Slept phenomenally. Saturday morning, I think we all woke up like around 7 or so. I would say we slept in for people who work day jobs, but the morning was like really slow and casual. I had made the night before an overnight breakfast casserole, so it was super easy just to pop that in the oven and have it ready as soon as everybody was awake. And this is where we really just kind of leaned into a slower timeline of the day. The original plan was with the snow, we were going to have breakfast and then just play outside all day. But because there was no snow, we couldn't really use the adventure park. And so we decided that after breakfast, we were going to take kind of just a casual stroll through the town of Millburn. We walked, I think, like 3 miles or so just down the road. No hiking trails, nothing crazy. Didn't even bring water with us. It was really nice to get out. The weather was perfect. Again, great conversation, lots of laughs, and we were looking for some animals like cows and horses, but didn't really see any. I don't know, maybe they were in other pastures or something. We came back to the house, and because the breakfast was so big and filling, nobody really wanted lunch. Instead, we just like put out all the snacks, the charcuterie board, like all the stuff, and just let everybody kind of graze. And the afternoon, I think, was just such a hit for everyone because, again, we're all just busy people. And having some time to yourself and to relax and pretend snow in was actually really pleasantly relaxing. So everybody kind of split up at that point. One of the girls sat in the hot tub for several hours. I think she was like alternating between the hot tub and the cold plunge, but she was out there a long time. Some of the girls were reading. Some sat on the front porch and just rocked and read and did whatever they wanted to do. I played pickleball with one of the girls for a little bit, which was really fun. And yeah, we just kind of hung out and didn't really do much for a couple of hours, which I think was an adventure in itself, just trying to relax. And then towards the end of the afternoon, we all decided to get in the hot tub together and just unwind a little bit more because some of us have been sitting outside for a while and wanted to warm up. And then I came in a little bit early before everybody and started to cook for dinner. I had spaghetti, salad, and Texas toast, which is also one of my favorite things to make on a go trip because one, it's easy, two, it doesn't require a lot of ingredients, and who doesn't love spaghetti? This night we finished the rest of the wine and we also opened up the non-alcoholic champagne, which I guess is just like grape cider. I don't know. But everyone said that the champagne was way better than the wine. So if you're interested in that, let me know and I'll tell you the brand that we bought. But yeah, it was delicious. After dinner, I wanted to have a little activity for us. And so I bought paracord bracelets and clasps at Hobby Lobby and on Amazon. And I wanted us to make some survival bracelets. I really wanted it to feel like a Girl Scout trip or overnight camping trip where there's some sort of like craft or you have to do something with your hands. And we made these paracord bracelets. Let me grab mine and show you. So I made a couple. This was my first one. It was too big. And then I made this purple one and it was too small. So I finally just made another one. And this one fits just right. But they're super cute, just little paracord bracelets. We just found a tutorial on YouTube and it's just a whole bunch of square knots. And once we got the hang of it, it was super easy to make and it was really fun. And I mean, we were just like picking up all the colors and trying to figure out like the different things that we could make with them, and some people were making keychains, some were making necklaces and chokers. Nobody died making a craft, which I'm here for. One thing I forgot to mention is that on every goat trip at night during dinner, we always do something called high-low buffalo. So if you've never been on a goat trip before, here's what you have in store. At dinner, just another way to foster conversation across everybody is we talk about our high of the day, the low of the day, and the buffalo of the day. Now you're probably asking yourself, like, what the hell is buffalo? And one of the girls on one of my first trips brought this up. Basically, a buffalo is like something weird, something unexpected, something that surprised you during the day. And so it's fun. I always love hearing every day like what people's highlights were, maybe some things that didn't go well for them. Maybe it was like a blister that's forming on their foot, or they didn't have enough to eat for lunch, or just a way to like check in. And then the buffalo is always just a fun surprise to hear like what was unexpected for people. And then at the end of the trip, we always do high-low buffalo for the whole trip. And it's fun for me because I get to hear real-time feedback while everyone is enjoying their trip. They probably don't see it like that, but for me as a business owner and wanting to make sure everyone has a good trip, it's just a way for me to hear people's real responses for the day. But two, it's just another good conversation starter. And, you know, most of the trips I've taken so far, everyone gets along super well, and there's never really any issues with conversation. As y'all know, I'm a talker, so it's really not hard for me to come up with conversation, but it just helps keep people engaged and talking with one another. Anyway, that was our Saturday night. We had dinner, we made paracord bracelets, we talked about our high-low buffaloes, and then we pretty much went to bed. A couple girls went out to go check out the moon, which was really neat. Then Sunday morning, we woke up about the same time, about 7, and I had made overnight cinnamon rolls. And so again, they just easy popped in the oven, and we all had breakfast together. The people that owned the cabin told us we didn't have to check out until like whenever we wanted because nobody was coming after us. But it being Sunday and everybody having plans and things that they needed to do to get ready for the week, felt like we still needed to leave around noon anyway. One thing I usually do on these trips, again, just a little behind the scenes, is when it's time to check out, we break up all of the checkout tasks across everyone, because if everyone has a little task, then there's no big task. So we divvy up things like one person goes and gets all the trash, one person puts all the towels in the bathroom, one person loads and starts the dishwasher, things like that. So everybody has a job, and we all go around, scurry around doing all the things, packing up, making sure we have everything. And on this Sunday, we decided to take another walk. Well, a couple of us did. Some of the girls decided to stay back and read while it was quiet, and the other half of us went for a walk, which again was super nice. The weather was still great. No snow still, but it was still a nice morning. Came back, finished up all of our chores, and then, yeah, we pretty much said goodbye to the cabin, which was super sad, but also just super relaxing to be able to get away. Overall, this trip was not what I expected at all. Again, I was expecting snow, I was expecting adventure park, I was expecting a little more like blood pumping fun, but honestly, I think this is what GOAT is all about. It's not about big summits or hitting hundreds of miles on a hike or snapping the best photo. It's about adaptability, trusting each other, and creating space for women to feel connected, even if it's in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, Utah. And that's why I started this. So yeah, that was our snowed in weekend. I know this is a pretty quick recap of it, and I wish I could take you more real time, but also try to be present with the other girls when we're on the trip. If you have any questions about the trip or about Girls Only Adventure trips in general, drop it in the comments because I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, hope you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know what trip you're excited about. With that, see you on the trail.